You're a total failure. I'm taking the kids and all our money, my wife snarled, draining our accounts in a brutal divorce. Worthless bum, her brother sneered, trashing my car. I smirked and left. 48 hours later. So I've been sitting here in my budget motel room for the past hour, trying to figure out how to write this. I guess I'll start with the moment I first noticed something was off. 2 weeks ago, my wife Sabrina started password locking her phone. After 12 years of marriage, suddenly she's acting like a teenager hiding messages from her parents. Not that I cared, we always had an open phone policy. But whatever. I was busy with work, getting home late from job sites, covered in sawdust and paint most days. Looking back, there were other signs. She started having these long coffee dates with her brother Kareem every Wednesday. Now, Kareem had always been a piece of work, the kind of guy who borrows money to lease a BMW while living in his mom's basement. But suddenly, he's giving my wife financial advice. Right. Yesterday morning started normal enough. Got the kids, Emma, 10, and Lucas, 8, ready for school. Made their lunches, dropped them off. Typical Thursday chaos of forgotten homework and missing socks. I headed to work, had a productive morning installing some custom cabinets for a regular client. Then my card got declined buying lunch at the sandwich shop I've gone to for years. Weird, since I just deposited a big client payment check. My checking account. Balance 0. Joint savings, empty. Even our kids' college fund was drained. My stomach dropped, but I kept my cool. Called the bank, all transfers made this morning to an account I didn't recognize. I tried calling Sabrina, straight to voicemail. Texted, nothing. Called her work, oh, Sabrina took a personal day. Of course she did. Drove home, probably breaking a few speed limits. Pull up to see Kareem's leased BMW in my driveway, and him hauling my kids' stuff into his car. The front door's wide open, and there's Sabrina directing traffic like she's orchestrating a military operation. Well, look who finally showed up, Kareem sneered, dropping a box of toys. The failure himself. I ignored him, walked straight to Sabrina. Want to explain where our money went? She turned to me with this look I'd never seen before, like I was something stuck to her shoe. My money. I've been planning this for months. You really think I was going to let you keep controlling everything? I almost laughed. Controlling. I've been working 60-hour weeks while you maxed out credit cards on designer purses. You're a total failure, she snarled. Living paycheck to paycheck. No ambition. I'm taking the kids and all our money. My lawyer says I can get full custody since you're never home anyway. That's when Kareem decided to play tough guy. Started talking about how he always knew I wasn't good enough for his sister, how I'd never amount to anything. Then he got creative, grabbed a baseball bat from his car. Who keeps a bat in their BMW? And started taking swings at my work truck. Smashed the headlights, dented the hood. Here's the thing, I stayed perfectly calm. Maybe that scared them more than if I'd lost it. I just smiled, pulled out my phone, and recorded everything. Sabrina's face when she realized I was filming. Priceless. Keep going, I told Kareem. That's about $3,000 in damage you're doing on video. Real smart. He dropped the bat like it burned him. Sabrina started screaming about me threatening them. I just walked inside, went straight to my home office, and grabbed every important document I could find. Birth certificates, insurance papers, tax returns, business receipts. Everything. You're pathetic, Sabrina spat as I walked out. Have fun sleeping in your truck. I turned back one last time. You know what's funny? For someone so smart, you really don't pay attention to the important stuff. But you'll figure it out soon enough. That was yesterday. I checked into this motel, called my bank, froze what accounts I could. Called my buddy who's an accountant, then a divorce lawyer named Louise who came highly recommended. Got maybe 2 hours of sleep. This morning, I started making calls. Lots of calls. Turns out people are pretty helpful when you've known them for years, done good work, kept your word. I've got meetings lined up tomorrow that would make Sabrina and her brother very, very nervous if they knew about them. The best part, they think they've got me cornered. Broken. They have no idea what's coming. I'm not going to lie, I'm worried about my kids. Emma called earlier from Sabrina's phone, crying because she didn't understand why she couldn't come home. Lucas got on and asked if I was going away forever, like his friend's dad did. Nearly broke me. But I promised them both, I'm not going anywhere. Sabrina thinks she's won because she got the jump on me. She's about to learn that slow and steady wins the race. I've got a plan, and unlike her, I know how to play the long game. I'll update when things start moving. And believe me, they're going to move fast. Update 1. First off, thank you all for the overwhelming support on my last post. A lot has happened in the past week, and Sabrina's perfect plan is starting to show some cracks. Remember how I mentioned I had some meetings lined up? Well, turns out having separate business accounts was just the start. While Sabrina was busy playing social butterfly these past few years, I was quietly building something solid. She thought our joint accounts were everything. Guess she never paid attention to all those papers I asked her to sign for my work stuff. The morning after everything went down, I met with Louise, my new divorce lawyer. She took one look at my documentation and actually smiled. They really screwed up, she said, spreading out the papers on her desk. Taking money from business accounts, that's not just stupid, that's legally actionable. But here's where it gets interesting. While I was at the lawyer's office, I got a text from Regina, Sabrina's best friend for the past decade. Can we meet? There's something you need to know. Met her at a coffee shop that afternoon. Regina looked nervous, kept checking her phone. Turns out she's been holding on to quite a few secrets. Sabrina's been lying to everyone, she said, stirring her coffee endlessly. She told all our friends you were emotionally abusive, that you controlled all the money. But I've seen her shopping sprees. Those designer bags she claims are knockoffs. They're real, and they're all on hidden credit cards. Regina pulled out her phone, showed me months of Instagram DMs, Sabrina bragging about fooling me, planning this whole thing with Kareem. The best part, all those Wednesday coffee dates with her brother. They were meetings with my competitors, trying to sabotage client relationships. Why are you showing me this? I asked her. Regina's eyes got hard. Because last month, she tried to seduce my husband. He shut her down, but she threatened to tell me he came onto her if he didn't help her with this divorce scheme. He recorded everything. I'll be honest, I wasn't even surprised anymore. Just tired of the lies. The next few days were busy. Louise helped me file for emergency court orders about the kids and finances. I moved from the motel to a small apartment near the kids' school, nothing fancy, but clean and furnished. Emma and Lucas came over for dinner yesterday. Emma cried when she saw I'd already set up her favorite reading corner with fairy lights, just like at home. But here's where my patience started paying off. Remember those business relationships Sabrina tried to mess with? Turns out loyalty goes both ways. Started getting calls from people warning me about what she and Kareem had been up to. One of my regular clients, a local restaurant owner, sent me security footage of them meeting my biggest competitor in his back dining room. Real classy. Then Kareem made his next mistake. He showed up at one of my job sites, running his mouth about how he was going to ruin me. What he didn't notice was the security cameras, or the 3 witnesses, or that one of them was recording everything on their phone. The best part, through all this, I haven't said a word publicly. No social media rants, no dramatic accusations. Just been posting normal work updates, pictures of my kids' art projects in the new apartment, maybe a few shots of the charity work I've always done at the local youth center. You know, the one where Sabrina was supposedly on the board. Funny how no one there seems to remember her actually showing up to help. Yesterday, I got another interesting call. Remember those designer bags? Turns out Sabrina's been running quite a scheme with her credit cards. Multiple accounts, all maxed out. She tried opening another one using our old joint information. That got flagged real quick. The credit card company's fraud department had some very interesting questions. But the real kicker came this morning. Kareem's been trying to secure a loan for his latest business venture. Apparently, he listed me as a character reference, claiming we were partners. The loan officer, who happens to be a client's wife, called to verify. I simply told the truth, with documentation. I know this all sounds calculated, But here's the thing, I'm not doing anything except letting the truth come out. No schemes, no plots. Just facts. The kids are adjusting slowly. Lucas asked me yesterday why Mom keeps telling people I'm the bad guy when I'm the only one who still helps with his science project. Emma's teacher called, concerned about something she'd said about Sabrina's new friends coming over late at night. Sabrina still thinks she's winning. Last night, she sent me a smug text about how she's going to take me for everything in court. I just replied with a thumbs up emoji. She has no idea that while she's busy playing victim on Facebook, her whole house of cards is about to collapse. I've got a meeting tomorrow with someone she really doesn't want me talking to. Let's just say some interesting bank statements have surfaced. The funny thing about trying to destroy someone, you should make sure they don't know where all the bodies are buried first. More updates to come. Update 2. The __ finally hit the fan yesterday, and honestly, it was better than I could have planned. Quick recap for those just joining. Wife emptied our accounts, took the kids, her brother trashed my truck. They thought they'd broken me. Instead, I've been quietly gathering evidence and letting karma do its thing. It started Tuesday morning at the custody hearing. Sabrina showed up in her fake designer outfit, ready to play victim. Her new hotshot lawyer, probably charging her a fortune, started in about how I was an absent father who prioritized work over family. That's when Louise, my lawyer, pulled out the receipts. Literally. Your Honor, I have here Mrs. last name S credit card statements for the past year. On average, she spent $2,000 monthly at bars and restaurants, mostly between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m., while my client was home with their children. Sabrina's face went white. Her lawyer started shuffling papers. Then Louise dropped the bomb. We also have testimony from the children's teachers about multiple instances where Mrs. last name failed to pick up the children, claiming work obligations, while her social media showed her at various venues with different male companions. The judge's expression could have curdled milk. But it got better. Sabrina jumped up, screaming about how I was manipulating everyone. That's when Regina, her former best friend, walked into the courtroom. Sabrina actually tried to run over and hug her, probably thinking Regina was there to support her. The look on her face when Regina sat on my side, priceless. The judge called a recess, but the damage was done. When we came back, temporary custody was split 50-50ths, with me getting primary physical custody due to stability concerns. Sabrina had to be escorted out by security, screaming about how I'd ruined her life. But that was just the warm-up. Remember Kareem? Mr. Big Shot with his leased BMW and failed businesses. Turns out he'd been using my name and business reputation to secure loans. When the bank started calling them in, he came looking for me. Found me at the local diner where I take the kids for weekend breakfast. Huge scene, cursing and threatening me in front of families with children. The owner, Mike, tried to calm him down. Kareem shoved him, a 60-year-old man who's loved by everyone in town. 3 customers immediately pulled out their phones and started recording. Someone called the cops. Kareem tried to play victim when they arrived, but guess what? The diner security cameras caught everything. He left in handcuffs, still screaming about how I'd orchestrated everything. The videos hit our local Facebook groups within hours. Remember all those friends Sabrina cultivated? Amazing how quickly they turned when they saw her precious brother assaulting a beloved local business owner. But here's the real kicker. While all this was happening, the kids were with Sabrina at her new apartment. Emma called me crying because Mommy's friends were there having a loud party at 2 p.m. on a school day. I picked them up early, found Sabrina drunk, some random guys on her couch, and empty bottles everywhere. Lucas had locked himself and Emma in their room to do homework. I recorded everything, called the police for a wellness check, and took the kids to my place. The responding officer's body cam footage is now part of our custody case. Sabrina has been blowing up my phone since then, switching between threats and begging. This morning, she left a voicemail sobbing about how she'll tell everyone the truth about what really happened. I texted back, "Go ahead. Truth is all I've ever wanted." Then I blocked her number. Her latest Facebook rant about me destroying her life backfired spectacularly when Regina commented with screenshots of their old conversations. The ones where Sabrina bragged about manipulating me, planning to take everything. She deleted the post, but not before people grabbed screenshots. Kareem's not doing much better. His newest business venture fell through after the diner incident. Turns out investors check local social media. Who knew? The kids are with me now. Emma asked if she could redecorate her room at my place. Apparently Sabrina had promised but never followed through. We spent last weekend picking out paint colors and new bedding. Lucas has been more quiet, but last night he hugged me and said he was glad he could do his homework without Mom's friends being noisy. My lawyer called earlier. Sabrina's side is suddenly interested in amicable negotiation, probably because the judge has scheduled a hearing about the missing money from my business accounts. Louise says we're in an excellent position. But you know what's funny? I'm not even angry anymore. Watching Sabrina's carefully constructed facade crumble, seeing Kareem's tough guy act fall apart, it's like watching a bad movie end exactly how you expect it. My sister Cassidy came over last night to help with the kids. She took one look around my apartment, dinner cooking, kids doing homework, everything calm and organized, and said, "You know what? I think you're actually better off now." She might be right. Oh, and that meeting I mentioned in my last update. Let's just say Sabrina's about to learn some very interesting things about credit card fraud and shared tax liability. More updates soon. Things are about to get even more interesting. Final update. Well, here we are. After countless requests for an update, I figured I'd share how everything finally played out. Grab some popcorn, this one's wild. Remember how my last update ended with hints about credit card fraud and tax issues? That was just the beginning. The final dominoes started falling about 2 months after that post, and honestly, watching Sabrina's world implode was better than any revenge I could have planned. It kicked off at Emma's school concert. I was sitting with the kids when Sabrina burst in late, clearly drunk, with her latest boyfriend. In the middle of the performance, she started screaming about how I'd stolen her babies. Security had to remove her. Emma was mortified, but I just hugged her and said, "Sometimes people show exactly who they are when they're losing." The next day, Sabrina showed up at my house at 7 a.m., pounding on the door and screaming about her rights as a mother. My neighbor's Ring doorbell caught everything, including her keying my car while yelling about how I'd ruined her life. The police took their sweet time showing up, but the video evidence was pretty damning. Then Kareem made his final mistake. He'd been spreading rumors about me at local businesses, trying to hurt my reputation. One day he ran into me at the hardware store, started running his mouth as usual, following me around, recording on his phone while ranting about how I destroyed his sister. I stayed completely calm, which just made him madder. He eventually shoved me into a display of paint cans. Unfortunately for him, he'd forgotten about the store's security cameras, and the witnesses, and the fact that he was already on probation from the diner incident. The cops were a lot quicker this time. But here's where it gets good. While Kareem was cooling off in a cell, his girlfriend decided she'd had enough. She called me, spilling everything about how Sabrina and Kareem had planned the whole divorce ambush, how they'd been embezzling from my business to fund Sabrina's spending. Even showed me texts where they joked about hiding money from the courts. My lawyer Louise had a field day with that information. The final hearing was almost anticlimactic. Sabrina showed up looking rough. No more designer clothes or fancy hair. Her lawyer couldn't hide his frustration as Louise presented evidence of hidden credit card debt in my name, falsified business documents, attempts to sabotage my client relationships, a pattern of parental alienation, the physical damage to my property. Sabrina lost it in court, started screaming about how everything was my fault, how I'd turned everyone against her, how she'd never really loved me anyway. The judge wasn't impressed. The ruling came down hard. I got primary custody. She got supervised visitation. All marital debt, mostly her credit cards, assigned to her. She had to repay the money she took from my business accounts. Her parents finally stopped enabling her after she threw a wine glass at her mom for suggesting she get help. Last I heard, she's working retail and living in a studio apartment. Her Instagram lifestyle posts have dried up completely. Kareem didn't fare much better. His probation violation landed him in county for 30 days. His girlfriend left him, taking their dog and his PlayStation. He had to move back in with his parents, who finally cut off his allowance. He tried to start a podcast about male empowerment, but it flopped after 3 episodes. Meanwhile, my life has completely turned around. Business is booming. Kids are thriving in school. My apartment has become a real home. Started dating Cassidy's friend from the gym, taking it slow. Even lost 20 pounds from stress and actually kept it off. Emma and Lucas still see their mom, but the shine is off. Last week, Emma asked me, "Dad, was Mom always like this and we just didn't notice?" Hard conversation, but necessary. The karma train wasn't finished though. Remember all those friends who initially sided with Sabrina? They've been sliding into my DMs apologizing, claiming they never knew what she was really like. Too little, too late. Last month, Sabrina texted me at 2 a.m, "I'm sorry I ruined everything. Can we talk?" I waited 12 hours, then replied, "Nothing to talk about. Focus on being better for our kids." She showed up at my door anyway, crying about how she'd changed and learned her lesson. Asked if we could try again for the kids' sake. Said she missed her family. I just looked at her and said, "The funny thing is, if you'd been honest from the start, we might have worked something out. But you chose scorched earth. Hope it was worth it." Then I closed the door. The kids and I are having a Halloween party next weekend. Emma's excited about decorating, and Lucas has been planning his costume for weeks. It's not the life I imagined 2 years ago, but maybe it's better. Turns out losing everything was the best thing that could have happened to me, because now I've got something better, peace. This is probably my last update. Thanks for all the support, once loyal. It's been a wild ride.